So welcome back. Today I want to speak about 15 things you can do to make that law of attraction work even slicker for you. Stay tuned, it's going to be a good one. So, welcome back. My name's Sage and I'm from Carnaclisis, where we learn together and we grow together in the sight of God. So before I move forward, I would just like to ask with all please, with pretty bells on top, if you could like, share, and of course subscribe. And one of the most important things as well, hit that little bell in order. Important things as well, hit that little bell in order to get more content that I release each week. So today I want to speak about the law of attraction. I'm going to go through 15 points on how you can enhance your abilities in order to make things manifest, and I'll be reflecting on myself and also on some people or some things I've come across over the last couple years. So the first thing I want to speak about is number one, which is thoughts become things. Now, this is a powerful one, and this is probably the most important thing where people don't seem to get it right. They seem to be stuck on that rat wheel, and they keep saying, well, how can I keep changing my thoughts and being positive and so on? And the reality is, it's like, it's not necessarily you have to sit there and be thinking 24/7 about what you want to manifest or what the type of person you want to be or what you want to achieve. It's what it is, the thoughts that you put out there. In, for example, if you're in a good place and you're helping somebody, you're helping a homeless person, you're helping that person who is struggling to get across the road, or you're going out to sit with somebody who everyone's avoids. It's those little things where your thought process needs to change in order to manifest positive attitudes and or positive things in your life, because it's called karma and it's called rewards, and that's where it comes from. So if you're going through life and you're thinking, oh well, yeah, I've done a law of attraction, and I think I believe, I see, believe and receive, and I move my closet so there's room for my partner, or I'm driving, and I drove the car, done the house and all the rest of it. No wonder. And you're going with an attitude where you're just thinking you want it just for you. It doesn't work like that. The universe or God in he or her infinite wisdom draws closer to you the more you are vibrating on that higher frequency, and that is joy, and that is helping people in order to make their life richer, because it's not necessarily about you. And so many people are on a vibration going, well, I help so much and I don't seem to be getting anything out of this. And by and largely, yeah, we all go through those trying times, but reality is, it's like we serve. We're in a situation where we serve, and your thoughts is a part of that serving of what you do. And then the aspirations, and as Dr. King said, take the first step in faith. If you don't, you won't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. And as you take that first step with changing your thoughts and changing your habits, then things will get better. If you don't, you're going to stay in that zone where you're not moving forward. And the other thing is, point two, is like attracts like. This goes back to thought become things. If you are negative and you are walking around with an attitude and you're being very down about everything, and then the first thing you wake up, you go, well, you never guess what happened on Facebook, or you never guess what's happened on Instagram or TikTok and all that lot. It just don't happen. I'm really disciplining myself not to look at my phone in the morning. The only time I turn my phone on or look at my phone in the morning is to look at the time, or turn my alarm off. But I normally just wake up against the time anyway. My body clock is set, but I try not to delve into that world of social media, because not straight away, because the first 20 minutes is key. And when you wake up in the morning, and when you're in that zone, and you're thinking and you're feeling and you're acting a way, or you're believing and you become a certain way, things shift. So, for example, for me, I spent 5 years being single, and it wasn't that I wasn't going on dates. I was dating every week, near enough, but I was just seemed to be attracting all the wrong people, and I was just going, well, what the hell's going on? And a friend said to me, well, you know what? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the problem. And I was like, what? Don't be stupid. And then, even though I do what I do, I mean, a law of attraction coach and practitioner and teacher, you can't, you want to call it the basics. You're like going, no, I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm aware that I'm vibrating on this level, but maybe a slight change could make a difference. Beautiful saying by Anthony Robbins, where he said he went into um, a um, a plastic surgeon's office, and he was talking to him, and he said, "You know the beauty, you know what makes somebody beautiful and someone but ugly, and that is just a millimeter, and that is with us. It's just a slight change into how we think, feel, and act will make the biggest change." Worked with a client recently who has been trying to make things move forward, and I just said, you know what, just do it, because you seem to just be waiting for things to change. Just make that first step. They did, and everything else fell into place and moved forward. They got a new job. They began to find somewhere to live, and even in lockdown, this person is now finding that new job when they were struggled for the last 6 months to find employment. The other thing is your self-image and your self-mastery. This is key. Your self-image and how you look, see, and feel is what you become. And let me just go back to this whole like attract like, because it's kind of similar. Because if you're attracting, you say, I keep attracting the opposite, then that's your mental state. That's what you're putting out there, your behaviors, your feelings. And I know so many people who go back to the same kind of job, or go back to the same kind of partner, go back to the same home they were at, and they're wondering why. And it goes, well, change that process, change what you were doing. It's kind of like self, you know, self. It's obvious that that's what it should be. So when you're looking at your self-image, you look at where you're at, and what I said about dating and changing myself and saying, okay, well, so basically that whole self-mastery and your self-image looks at what you are and where you want, or what you want to achieve and what you want to manifest. And if you're in that state and you're constantly nitpicking and complaining, you're going to always have that attract that negative person, and then you would not be able to move forward. And you're going to be thinking, you're saying, well, no matter what I do, these people are not I'm not being approached by the right person. The other important part of that as well, when I talk about, is point 4, and that point is that the science of creation. Now, this isn't manifestation, by the way. This is not you manifesting something. The science of creation. Looking at what is the creation process of making these things happen. The first, the second, and the third stage. So when you're going for a creation process, so for example, when you look at the law of attraction, you look at what you want, you feel what you want to be what you want to achieve. You know, and let me give you a bit of a tip. A need is more powerful than a want. So when you need something in your life, it would happen quicker than a want. So if, for example, I need a new microphone or laptop for my work, the need will come quicker. I'll be able to manifest it quicker, because, for example, that's stopping you from achieving, or me achieving, supporting the universe or the creator and getting the messages out. And my need for me to be what is in this process of finding somebody that I can be with or love, You need to find the need in what is the need behind it all. So when you're going through the creation, the science of the creation process is looking at the elements, looking at each element and really feeling the element and really you magnetizing and taking it on board and developing it. And the other point as well is like each step you make, and even when you're going through a dark time, they're all really about you manifesting and becoming a stronger person. When you're feeling low and depressed and so on, that is a part of your change, your expansion. You know, your intention is is going to be the overall arrival or the overall success. So if your attention is not there because something's going wrong, that's when you should be, you know, you're getting closer. So if you feel like nothing is moving, look at it, look at your situation. And so, for example, you're trying to manifest a new job and you're doing all the right things. You're sending your CV out, you're looking for the new newspapers, for example, or you're going online and things of that nature. And then you're talking to people, you're going to shops, nothing is happening. Maybe for the fact is that when you're doing all these things that you're not wearing the right attire, you know, so you're giving off the wrong image. It could be something as stupid as that. It may be for the fact is that your CV is not written properly. It may be for the fact is that your email is incorrect. You know, it's too childish. It's not professional. It's like really look at the science means the little details of the creation process of the law of attraction. So look at the little details, these little nitpicks, and you may think, oh, I really can't be bothered. You know, how much do you really want that change? You know, if you're going to have that attitude, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to just sit in this state of unblissness, you know, when you should be living a state of bliss. The other point, the fifth point, is detachment. Now, when you detach yourself from the want and the need, that's when it manifests. So, you do your journal, you've written out what you want, and I've gone, okay, I want X, Y, and Z. And I know what I want, and I'm going to act as if, but if I get the feeling, I'm just going to go, you know what, I'm detaching myself away from the negative people. I'm not telling people what I want. I'm just doing. And you know what, I have a saying, and I always tell my children this, and my grandkids, you know, don't say do. And when you do, then say. Because if you're constantly telling people what you're going to do, you would never even do it, or people be quick to change it or talk you out of it, because people don't like change, don't like you advancing forward. So when you're attaching yourself from not talking to them, that's not what detachment, what I'm talking about detachment. It's up here, detaching yourself from the process of people telling you that what you're doing is wrong, because they would not understand where you're going. I work with someone who is really highly spiritual, and no one seems to get them, and it's really pulling this person down. And I said, well, no, they won't get you because they're not of like mind like you. You need now to detach, not ignore or don't no longer talk to. Detach yourself from them so others can come in. And that means that you don't kind of share as much as what you do is as in deep. There's something called the glossy approach, I call it. Is where you just, you know, when you get that pamphlet in a doctor's or when you're in the high street, and it just so your synopsis of what it is, so you go to the website, it's a bit more in detail, then you go and see the person. That's what I'm saying, it's a glossy approach. You turn around and you just give them on a need to know basis. Like, when, for example, I needed to upgrade my mic because I'm doing a lot of podcasts now coming up, and I'm doing a lot of courses coming up. And this is something is getting into 2021 I really, really, really want to do. And with the current mics I'm using, I don't think it's sufficient to give the people what who are on my channel or my podcast the right kind of quality. And in order to put the good content through Skillshare, for example, I need to feel confident and happy that my... So point 6 is be sure about you. Be sure about this is what you want to achieve, what your goal is, what your need is. And that would help you manifest these things a lot more quicker. Because if you're constantly blaming and you're not too sure, and then you keep saying it's because of your family, your lover, your work that you can't achieve your goals, and you want to achieve them, but you feel like you've been held back. If that is the case, then fine. But if it's just like you've been given all the support and you're just not doing it, you need to come from a place and be honest and real with yourself, and find out what it is that is slowing you down. And once you can work out what your process is and what's halting you, that's when you can start, I call it vibrating and pulsating on that right level. Because at the moment you just seem to be just reacting to people and reacting to things, and this is not going to help you in the long run. Because in reality, if you're sure within yourself, we've seen this in history where people go and fight against, I don't know, apartheid. You've got Martin Luther King, you've got Nelson Mandela, you've got Gandhi, you've got all these people that stand up and put their life on the line for what they believe in, but you can put your heart on the line and be sure about what it is that you want. And that's what I was talking about, coming from a place of surety. The other point is let it happen. That's point 7. Just let it happen. You're going to spend... I've seen so many people who I've worked with who they make all their wishes, their goals, their ambitions, and everything is there, and then they try to make it happen. It won't work like that. Sometimes you get something called inspired action, and when you do inspired action, that's what you need to do to make your goals be achievable. So you may need to turn around and attend studying in order to get that dream job that you want, or to be in the right environment. And I remember talking to a friend at college, and he was saying that when he was working as a painter, he didn't want to. He had to go and do like a, I think it was like a short course, kind of like a apprenticeships. That's what I'm looking for. Apprenticeships to be a painter, and he was like, I just want to be a painter on the wall. But because he went on his course and he learned about to be a painter, to paint, or to be a paint decorator, he met his business partner on there, and that's where they built the business, because they both worked together on certain projects. That's how sometimes things happen. And when I say let it happen, follow through. Don't try and take control. The other point is, point 8 is, I love this title, own your own shit. Some people are really good at sweeping shit under the carpet, and I'm sorry for being so blunt, but you do, and it's really quite annoying sometimes, that everyone knows me saying own it, not smart, you own it. If you own that you are not good at writing, so you're not going to be a writer. You don't have a good imagination, you won't be a writer. If you're not good in athletics, you won't be able to be in the Olympics. If you can't play tennis, you don't be a tennis star. If you own what you are and what you were kind of like created to do, your gifts, then this is where you would excel. But so many people try to become a gift because that's where the money is. Some people are not naturally good on camera, but they want to go on camera because they want the attention, and they just freeze, to be honest. Or they don't mind talking on camera, but when they go in front of people to talk, they get really nervous, and then it's the worst case scenario. The other point is, number 9 is gratitude. So important. And every morning I wake up, thank you for me being alive, thank you for my family, Thank you for my job. Thank you for my, my followers. Thank you for this. Thank you for my car. All these things, gratitude. I don't just say it. I could walking down the street, I could maybe get out my car and going into either work or going to see a client, and then I'm like, you know what? I love this life. I love this life compared to what my life was before. This life is so much better. And where I struggled before, and I never really owned my own shit, and therefore now I own it, and I just get on with it. And I have gratitude, and I look at everything I do, and I go, I have gratitude for my diary, my journal, that I can drop notes down. I may not have chosen that one, but I may not have chosen it if I was out, but I chose it so it's there for a particular reason. The other point is that you need to have a plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, and you need to put that plan in place in order to make the next step come through your process. And if you're using a law of attraction to achieve work goals, having a 3-step plan or a monthly plan or yearly plan is key, because that would help you to identify what your struggle is and what you need to work on. Next point is, don't live in the past. And I know so many people that still do. And I had a client come to me before and kept referring to them in the past. When I was, and I remember before I did, and I was saying, you know what? No wonder you're not moving forward, because you're constantly acknowledging the past, which is dead and gone. It's been and it's moved on. So today is what's key. Look at today and make that narrative be, I've learnt this and I'm going to do, as opposed to when before I could, they're talking about you from before. Obviously it's important what you've done up to this point, but it's not necessarily important when you're talking to that person, especially if it's about you. The other point is, have a journal. I always have a journal. I write on there what my goals are, what I want to write about on YouTube, and I maybe squiggles, and maybe I've gone through about 3 journals in the space of 3 months with ideas and things I'm implementing and things I need to purchase, like cameras or tripods or software, whatever. But I look at what is key in order to make the channel more appealing, to get that kind of content out there. And my last point is, I have affirmations. I have affirmations everywhere. I have it in my book, I have it in my car. And it could be simple. That could be a movie. It could be a friend of yours that tells you something that you are really drawn to. So you want to turn around and really drill that down. So all these things are really cool. Have the affirmations out, because it does give way to what you were before, then all the negative bits and talking about that. So I hope that's helped. That are my points to help you with the law of attraction, and I'd just like to just end it there. So again, if you could like, share and subscribe and that little bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.